with it looking, I guess, like the economy is going to pick up in no small part thanks to $2 trillion in relief being put into it, Mitch McConnell wants to make sure that you don't make the mistake of giving the Democrats any credit, as he makes clear in this video.
The economy is coming back. People are getting vaccine. We're on the way out of this. We're about to have a boom. And if we do have a boom, it will have absolutely nothing to do with this $1.9 trillion.
Yeah, but that's stupid though. Like, look, you can say that it could have been targeted in a slightly better way or something, but if you're gonna make the case that injecting $2 trillion into the economy, and into the economy, by the way, not for instance a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthy, you're gonna send it to the Caymans or whatever, then you're gonna have to explain why. Why is it that they could put all that money in the economy and it would seemingly have no effect on the economy? Now, that politically that might be helpful for people to come to that conclusion, but you need to actually provide some evidence for it. And it seems clear that the more important thing to Mitch McConnell, even more important than people getting aid, since he wasn't interested in supporting this bill, is just making sure that this doesn't bolster Democratic chances over the next year, like sort of setting the stage for midterms that might not be as devastating for them as I fear that they probably will be.
Yeah, and I have to say, Mitch McConnell says that this bill is not going to have any impact on the economy. Analysis from Columbia says otherwise. And so just like you said, if he knows something that Columbia doesn't know, and all of the major, pollsters and analyzers who study this kind of thing don't know, please enlighten me on what it is that means that this bill is not going to do what they say for the economy. But it really is. It's so interesting how he's able to say, oh, if it goes well, that's definitely the Republicans. If it doesn't do well, that's all Democrats. It's like you definitely get the sense that he wants it both ways. He wants credit, and then he also wants to deny. It really is so hypocritical, and it's so obvious. It's like he's not even trying to pretend.
Yeah, look, it's possible that to some extent, when he talks about the economy, he's sort of like he has certain assumptions as a Republican about what counts as the economy and what doesn't count as the economy. So if studies show that this is gonna cut a significant percentage of poverty over the next year, like percentage of people living in poverty, I doubt he's really centering that in his conversations about the economy.
Oh yeah.
But in the end, it's not like the stock market isn't gonna benefit. They always do, regardless of which party is in power. So again, it just seems sort of it's pointless political strategizing. That's pretty much all it is. But I did want to ask you a question though. So he seems to be betraying that he's worried about voters looking back on this and giving Biden a bunch of credit and the Democrats a bunch of credit. Do you think that like in nearly 2 years, or like say a year and a half, as we're in the thick of the midterms, is this still going to be, you think, like central on people's minds? Is this going to be a big consideration?
That's a great question. I think it's clear that the Republicans are very concerned about it. I happen to think that voters have a pretty, they care how things impact them. I think that, for a lot of people, this is not about politics or playing politics. I think people just want help. They want help, they want care, they want, aid, they want relief, especially right now with so many people struggling. I think that they might be overthinking how much your average American is kind of read into the politics of how things get done. They just want things to get done.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. Anyway, at least from the Republicans' point of view, they seem pretty united on this. I mean, you have someone like Mitch McConnell wanting to make sure that people they see how popular the bill is. Even amongst a majority of Republicans actually support it, let alone Democrats or independents. But even people like Liz Cheney, who the Republicans would love to run out of the party, says this bill does far more harm than good, and the damage it does will only make our recovery efforts more difficult. So I don't know, maybe she actually believes that, maybe she's a true believer on the fact that we should never stimulate the economy by giving money to the working class, but maybe it's just the Republicans can be in lockstep on certain things, like don't give any credit to the Democrats. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's funny, I think that you're so right earlier when you said, I think that some of these Republicans see the economy as like rich guys and corporations. And listen, those people are gonna get theirs regardless. Why not give money to just everyday Americans who are struggling? I think that you're exactly right that when some of these people say the economy, I think it's kind of clear who that includes and who that leaves out. But yeah, I think this bill, before it was passed, I think it had 75% of Americans approved of it. How often do you get 75% of anybody agreeing on anything? That's a pretty huge number to me.
Yeah, exactly. When look, we've had a couple of months of right-wing media demonizing COVID aid. You have the Democrats really tragically backing off of some of the earlier promises they'd made. These are all things that in theory could have led people to be a little bit muddled about their view of the bill. And yet it seems like they still kind of like it. What do you know? People want help during this terrible crisis.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.